here at the 12 o'clock position on Metropolis, we have the winningest of the GSL Code S champions with 4 to his name. It is IM.Mvp. And his opponent at the 9 o'clock position, winner of the last game. Okay, so he beat the last Code S champion. Now he's got to beat the Code S champion before that.
Yeah.
It is StarTale.Curious. He's our Red Zerg player.
And before that, it was Dongregu. So if he does beat MVP, at least he doesn't have to go back further in time.
No, that's like, because it's the name MVP, it actually just like slowly slides into Team MVP afterwards. There's a crossover there that no one knows about.
That's true. No one knows about that.
Yes.
Why are you telling everyone?
Shh. More secrets. I guess I do have lots of secrets.
All right,
You're
and
correct.
I will be translating for this game. Coach Harai says, MVP is playing, would you like to concede? And StarTale says, no, thank you. And then Zenext says, I'm still here.
Yes. In fact, I'm next. So.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, that's silly because you're down to your last player. So.
And Nest's like, don't worry, I have Code S championships also, and if Curious wins, I will beat him.
That's right.
All right. So that's the translating. Hopefully they won't talk anymore.
So we got so many GSL champions are saying things right now, and we've got one with 4 championships playing, one with 3 who just said something, and maybe MC will pop in there as well and just be like, hey, I'm here too.
Yeah, don't forget about me.
Yeah.
He's on MC, man. He was so close to like having the 3rd championship. It's like MVP got it, and then Nesty got it, and MC's like, okay, my turn because I have 2, and I'll get 3 now. And then he just came so close against Seed, and Seed said, nope, I'm here now. I learned how to play this game, and I'm better than you at it. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take this one.
That's right. And I am honestly, they needed a Protoss champion that wasn't through a partnership through SK or anything like. They just wanted a real.
Yeah, they gotta have their own.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure MC just let him win so that they could do that. No, probably not. But like, I'm thinking about it. Seed is not MC levels of swagger. Like he has the thumbs up and like the shirt thing and like the arm flailing, but he doesn't have the Murloc dance. He doesn't have the throat cut. He doesn't have, he's not as severe as MC yet. So maybe under MC's tutelage, Seed could be his Padawan and learn like celebration / BM techniques. I feel like that could be good.
After Seed did beat Tasia at the TAC3 final, so that was like genuine, just fist pump in the air, like, yes, this is amazing. So that was some of the most genuine passion I've seen out of a StarCraft player so far. So Curious decided to go hatch first, of course, decided to go quick gas afterwards so we can get Zergling speed as quick as possible, pulling himself mostly off of gas, but leaving 1 more unit still on there as speed makes its way out. Not going for that gasless 4 Queen build, though, or anything along those lines. MVP decided to put his barracks in a funky position off to the side, but it was immediately scouted by an Overlord that was sitting overhead, but going for quick 3 command centers right afterwards.
Did we see this in Tasia Stefano yesterday? Something like this?
Not this exact build, because Tasia had actually dropped down a couple more structures first. He went over to Factory before he did it, but he did this against Nesty on this map in the TAC3 finals. Yeah.
Okay, so Baneling Bust could be potential here, but we'll see if Curious. I mean, he's doing okay scouting. He's got a couple of Lings actually approaching the front, and now they are actually going to chew up this SCV in his own base, but he does have Lings running around. Yeah, going to be able to kill an SCV. Not bad. 4 Marines going to have to respond to this, and the Lings could get away if there was actually an escape route.
Yes, but no.
But there's not. Look at that! Look at that APM over 400 for MVP.
That's right. Wrists blowing up or not.
God.
Still keeps it going.
Constant explosions going on.
Yes, that's right.
MVP's wrists.
They just, as the game progresses, they just become small nuclear explosions, though, and that's when the map gets
after he builds
destroyed.
Ghost Academies, then yeah, terrible. 8 drones coming up for Curious.
Correct. And there is a reactor on the way now, so we'll move back into that familiar reactored Hellion stage. I like how it was just, you have to wall off against Zerg or you die in the past, and now it's just, well, whatever.
It still kind of is.
Yeah, he did for a while, but until he built this bunker up at the front, which was just started a few seconds ago, he didn't have anything there for a long time.
All right, so Curious off to a decent start, pulling ahead in supply by about 30% of the MVP's supply.
Yeah, but that's to be expected,
yeah,
I mean, at first, because we had the 3 orbital commands. But, I mean, very soon, MVP is just going to invest in his infrastructure, and he'll be able to move into just mass production mode. I really love what Curious is doing here, keeping on the aggression with these speedlings. It nullifies a lot of the effect of having this orbital command up. It's absolutely doing nothing at the moment. They're finally starting to produce an SCV, but still very annoying for MVP to deal with.
That's true. Good moves from Curious so far, and it's actually giving him enough time to get up a third base of his own. So he's actually going to be mining off of 3 before MVP, who built 3 right away. So that's nice to keep that contained going. And Evolution Chamber coming up in case Banshees happen. Obviously, if you're pinning your opponent in his base for a long time, it's obviously a possibility of Banshees or even drops. Just Medivacs coming over with some Marines, not unlikely. So Curious is preparing for the worst. A couple of Hellions are out now, so this contain is going to be broken finally. And I don't know, does Curious have any Spine Crawlers down? He's just got 1 Queen, actually, and some Lings to defend against this.
Just
Whoa,
Queen.
Spire in a strange spot.
Yeah, but it's certainly not going to get scouted right away. I mean, there can be a safe assumption that it's going to be there, but it's a little more defensible. It's going to be in between the natural and third bases once those eventually have creep attached to them. So will certainly be something that MVP is going to have to be aware of. But just 3 orbital commands up for him. He's queuing up and making sure that he continues with his SCV production and moving ahead with biomech strategy.
Curious, actually, by chasing those Hellions, prevented his third from getting scouted. I have to believe those Hellions would have, darted in there to check things out if those many Lings weren't chasing. The creep is not connected, so he actually might not know that that's already going on. Obviously, it's not too far of a guess to say Curious is probably on 3 bases by now, but he doesn't know for sure, and the Lings were responsible for that. If MVP felt like it, he probably could have turned with the Hellions and tried to just thin out the numbers, but instead rejoined his other Hellions so he can make this more concerted attack a little bit later. Starport is about halfway done, hasn't built anything yet, so it looks like just heavy bio is going to be the build order of the day for MVP.
Okay, well, first couple of Banelings are morphing in now for defensive purposes, and MVP, look at this production tab, just going up in everything. 1-1 upgrade, Stim's just about to finish up Siege technology as well, and then powering ahead with all of his production facilities in place as he establishes his third, so things are looking very, very good already in place for him.
8 Mutalisks already at the 10-minute mark as that Spire does get finished up. The scan goes down, doesn't see the Spire, obviously, and is not going to catch these Mutas. I think it will fade. Yeah, it's going to fade before the Mutas actually pop up. So interesting situation we have here for Curious with a little bit of hidden information. Armory going up now for MVP. So as he makes a big wave of bio, he is actually going to slowly slip into a more mech sort of mixture. He's got Siege Tech on the way and that Armory coming up now to start rolling those upgrades and potentially even get some Thors out now that these Mutas are hitting the field.
All right, well, missile turret just being finished up inside of the main. It looks like it's going to finish up just in time. Already
Maybe
MVP
not.
Reacting with the with Stim Marines, and the missile turret does finish, starting to ward away those Mutalisks. One going down very quickly.
And having flashbacks.
Oh, look at this.
Flashbacks of life, ineffective Mutas. Oh no, yeah, but good load up there. Actually, right as those Medivacs come out, MVP gets on it immediately.
That was awesome.
And drops those Marines onto the low ground instead of making them have to use their little legs to walk all the way around. But Muta's checking out this third base. Not really going to be able to do much there, and I think he lost 3 Mutas in that attack.
I mean, everything MVP did there was actually so cool because he left about 3 or 4 Marines here that were still in position in case the Mutals had decided to kind of suicide or double back and take out the Medivacs that were loaded up, that he kept those alive. Looks like a few Hellions poking out the front, just making sure the creep tumors do eventually get destroyed. They will be intercepted by Mutalisks, but still, that was just a brilliant display of micro from MVP.
Yeah, good job, and he warded off the Mutas, didn't take too many worker losses, killed 3 Mutas for his trouble, and actually was able to keep those 3 bases all mining away. Now we have Curious. Actually, it looks like he's gearing up for some big Baneling action, getting Baneling speed now, and just tons of Lings out on the field. He's going to try and find a nice area to get everything ready, probably try and poke at the back of MVP's base to free up the front a little bit so that he can eventually move in with those Banelings. 12 workers killed now for Curious. It's actually slightly more than I thought, but the Muta's really, I don't think he's going to overcommit to these like Life did against whoever it was, Yanghua maybe, or Seed. Seed, actually. Seed. So I don't think he's going to overcommit. I imagine he'll probably slow down or stop at this point and try and get these Banelings going in a big way. And the creep spread is just fantastic at the moment. I mean, it's going in all directions, so it's going to encompass the entire map. And unfortunately, these Hellions aren't going to get picked off in the middle, so MVP not able to retreat with those in time. Oh, man, he's moving in. Oh, he's actually chomping down the destructible debris, of course. Command center is in range of that, but now, oh, that siege tank is going to make a big difference. So siege tech already finished. He's got 2 tanks sieged up there at the top of that ramp, but if they're not close enough to actually prevent these Lings and Banelings from rolling in, that could be really, really dangerous. I don't know if MVP, oh, he does realize he must if he's moving those Marines closer to the destructible debris. There's a sensor tower now up as well.
Okay, so let's go ahead and see here as more missile turret coverage being provided. Going back up inside of the behind the third as well. MVP unfortunately supply blocked and has to call down supplies and build 2 supply depots at exactly the same time. So very annoying for him to deal with. I'm shocked that those mutas didn't take a single shot from the turret. They were just out of range the entire way.
Yeah, few mutas able to keep really good control. Obviously, they're good anti-Hellion measure, even if they're not going to be able to get too much damage in anymore because of stim Marines and turrets all over the place. They can still, you know, they can be effective at defending for a while, and he has not built a muta since I mentioned that. 16 Banelings actually coming up now, but this, you know, it's going to come down to this Baneling Ling muta control as he tries to break through this siege line. Oh, actually he is getting, is that Ventral Sacs or just Pneumatized Carapace?
Pneumatized Carapace, okay. Just Pneumatized Carapace.
Man, I thought for a second he might just load up everything and try to get in there. There's really not a ton in the main preventing him from doing that if he did want to switch gears, but Burrow is a nice touch as well, obviously, making him have to use scans. And oh, he's going to get some free Marines here, but he shows off, I have a ton of Banelings and they have speed, so MVP can start to prepare for that a little bit better. He's building Thors and tons of Marines at the moment.
And it looks like he's going to start marching across the middle of the map. Worker count is 69 to 85 at the moment. The Mutal is swinging back in, trying to do some damage. So MVP stretching his multitasking at the moment as he moves through the middle of the map with a pretty big army. Loses a fair number of units there to Banelings, but still has a strong contingent of forces still behind.
So MVP's APM is really going to show through here when we see the
Look
tanks.
At Curious's too.
Yeah, Curious is up over 400 as well. I was going to say MVP specifically because the sieging and unsieging of tanks and inching forward here is going to be really, really, really important. But look at that. He's actually does not get a good spread on his Banelings, or his Marines, excuse me, and Curious just mows through them with those Banelings. He's got a big army advantage right now, and look at all these Banelings he still has alive. He's going to continue rolling through here. That tank obviously forfeit. Is he going to use some Banelings on this Thor? I feel like he could and just keep rolling, but he's not actually going to commit to it just yet. He feels like he got a good trade there, and he's not going to waste any more units than he needs to.
Good job by MVP to target fire out the Baneling there and keep everything alive. Make sure he won't take any unnecessary economic damage, but he did lose a big engagement in the middle of the map. We do see Spire and Hive Tech coming up at once, another 17 Banelings, tons of Infestors, so Curious is really hitting on all fronts at the moment. And you were talking about APM during that engagement. 540 is where Curious spiked.
How?
Yeah.
There's not 540 actions to do in 1 minute. That's a lot. But anyway, Medevac actually looping around now for, yeah, obviously the Overlords are going to spot it, so MVP could actually just lose everything here if the mutas are just quick enough and the Ling's actually preventing Marines from being dropped. He's going to lose a lot there. Actually, totally ineffective drop. Good Overlord placement there. And actually not even, there is something going on in the top left. I'm not sure what. Oh, a drop into that Overlord farm. All right, not bad, not bad. Getting a couple of Overlord kills, but he's still well over the cap.
Yeah.
And he's going to remain safe. I really thought...
Oh, Corvid Reactor and triple Ravens coming out. Yes! No. Seeker Missile!
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I can't even... Wow, that's going to be very, very interesting if he actually lives long enough to employ that. There's so many Banelings out on the field right now. I want to see if Curious actually goes through with it and tries to blast everything down before these Ravens can actually matter. I'm not sure, you know, how much Curious is actually scouting into the main of MVP, but he sees these drops happening. He's trying to stay active, stay on top of that. Obviously, you don't want to lose any important tech while you're off, you know, trying to position yourself to kill some SCVs or whatever it is. But 2 turrets on the bottom, good positioning there for MVP. These Mutalisks are not going to be able to get in there. Wow, actually nice turret placement all over. So he's totally entrenched. MVP with good placement on tanks and turrets.
Yeah, and so MVP certainly not just going to have to think about taking this 5th over here, but because of the way Curious has already taken 6 bases, including this hatchery here in the upper left-hand corner, he's going to need to take one of those islands pretty soon as well. A lot of things going on. Yeah, Nidus Worm, Greater Spire just about to finish. Chitinous Plating is on the way for Ultralisks as well. 3 more Ravens are being produced for MVP as he moves up into 3/3 upgrades, finishing up that Seeker Missile. And this round of Ravens is going to have the Corvid Reactor in addition, so a little bit additional energy for them when they spawn.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm really curious where this Nidus Worm is going to pop up, whether he's going to use it just for defensive purposes or just right there in the main. Maybe that's where he's going to put it. I don't see that being effective, unfortunately. You should probably just cancel it now. No, it's dead. Nidus Worm detected and destroyed.
Yes. And Nidus Worms are pretty expensive. I mean, yeah, you can throw them around, especially when you have the bank that Curious does. Don't get me wrong, it's not like that affected him all that bad, but you can't just spam them across the map. So.
Yeah, but you can.
You literally can, but you don't want to.
I feel like there's a spot actually just off the right side of that sensor tower that if he got right there, that could actually be fun because he could use range units to poke down the actual destructible debris and then just hop right in there. But maybe we'll see that. Maybe not. I don't see how he's going to get in there to actually get vision.
Okay, so MVP already has 6 Ravens. He's got 2 more coming up as well. As we can see, Curious is just trying to do a little bit of damage on free up supply. He just wasted a lot of Zerglings and a couple of Mutalisks because now he's building 12 Corruptors in addition to the 6 he already has. He could start moving into very heavy airplay, not just Broodlords, but just pure Corruptors as well to deal with the amount of air forces he knows his opponent has out.
More sensor towers going up for MVP. Still the least used, most good thing that Terran has. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most underrated.
Most underrated, yes. Most underused, most under everything because sensor towers are absolutely incredible. MVP knows that, so he used them, and you should too. 6 command centers in production now for MVP.
Standard.
Not a terrible choice. We've seen Teja drop 50 mules with this many command centers before, and you know, MVP is certainly able to do that as well. Unfortunately, the rest of the map belongs to Curious, and he's got over 50% of the bases actually already occupied.
That's 13 command centers there, by the way.
Yep.
I just selected. So pretty normal amount, but this is obviously they're just waiting until they can get up to the max amount. Oh, so many more Ravens coming up. I really want MVP to win with this. I have to say, I'm not biased against Curious. I'm just biased for Ravens. So
that's right. Baltimore is your favorite NFL team. You don't even know what the Rams are.
Oh, no, well, I honestly don't. So 3 picks against Stafford, can't win against me. Anyway, this is a pretty effective drop so far. So. MVP is doing some pretty good damage with it. He needs to be able to take down that Spine Crawler, but it looks like he's a little more worried about another drop making its way off to the side. He can actually trade pretty efficiently with those Veilings, just kill like 1 at a time. Actually, that's worked out pretty well for him.
Oh, no, some Marines still standing. The Broodlords, where did these 5 Broodlords come from? 6 Broodlords. Yeah. Just going crazy here. And actually, they've got not a whole lot stopping them at this 5th base location of MVP. Corruptors in the air. Oh, there's our first round of Seeker Missiles. Not going to be able to catch these Corruptors. But the Broodlords, if they could just switch gears instead of just fall flat like that, that would be crazy.
And they did fall flat, so sad. But look at the fleet of Ravens. I love this.
It's only 11.
That's someone... Oh, man, screen cap that and send that to Blizzard and be like, this is how the game was meant to be played.
Ravens, this just in, removed from Heart of the Swarm.
Oh.
Ventral Sacks.
Seeker Missile's actually only 100 energy in Heart of the Swarm, though. I figured I'd throw that out there. Right. So it's that's a big difference because they can instantly pop it up with Corvid Reactor.
And we have a ton of upgrades coming up from Curious now as he frees up some supply. Adrenal glands. We've got just armor, air, range, infestors, crawlers of all sorts. And Curious just has so much money. He's just trying to find creative ways to spend it.
And MVP has almost no mineral income right now. I mean, he does a little bit because of the mules, but almost all of his 37 workers are on gas at the moment as he just wants to build, well, pretty much nothing but Ravens and high gas units.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. We've got more air weapons coming up now. Concussive shells being researched at 25 minutes in, so that's helpful.
Yes.
2 more orbital commands morphing, and another command center being built. Why not? And I can't believe he's built 15 command centers or whatever it is, and his minerals are still under 200. Like, that's actually incredible.
He has plenty of orbital commands to spam down mules. He's got 8 on the field at a time right now, and we can see that his mineral income does spike quite aggressively as a result.
Oh, is he going to lose? Oh, one more shot would have lost that whole
Corruptors
medevac.
are coming up there, though.
Yeah, but he can drop his payload at least. He could still go after the medevacs and just strand these Marines there. That could be amusing. But
yeah,
3 more Ravens coming up now, and turret range, actually.
Another drop down at the bottom as well, and this is actually going to pick off some gas, but we can see there's already so much of a bank saved up for Curious that it's not really that big of an issue. All of the spine crawlers are sitting down, but 3-3 Marines, man, stimmed up, can rip through spine crawlers pretty quickly when they're trying to seat themselves.
They certainly can. I'm actually starting to wonder what Curious is waiting for, because defending drops all day is not going to be conducive to winning this game. And he needs, I mean, his upgrades are basically done now, so if he just keeps holding back and waiting for MVP to kill all his tech, that could be probably not the right situation for him to win the game. But we do have a lot of Corruptors in the sky, as you mentioned, lots of Lings running in now to try and finish off these Marines. And I think right now, basically right now, would be a good time to start moving with everything while he's maxed, while MVP is not maxed. That is quite an Air Force there for MVP as well, with 15 Ravens flying around.
Yeah, 3 more coming up, by the way. So,
yeah,
FYI. Yeah. And there's the Fusion Core. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have some battle cruisers in just a bit. I am getting increasingly more and more excited. Look at this defensive position. 4 planetary fortresses. Siege tank sitting in the back with +2 upgrades. 1 million Ravens, all with Seeker missile primed and ready to go. This is just... this is going to be one of the best fights that I think we've ever casted.
Well, there won't be any vortexes. I know that for sure.
That's true.
If Curious had Neural and Seeker missiled everything, I think that would be really cool, but he doesn't. Oh, Seeker missiles. Oh,
Whoa!
God, they kill absolutely all the Corruptors. Oh, my God.
That was so cool. And the MVP is going to continue pushing forward now. Any more Seeker missiles?
I see some. Oh, Birdlords, no.
Wow, they're taking quite a bit of damage, and it hit some units on the ground as well. At the same time, MVP is coming around the side with a task force of Marauders and Thors, but Curious is moving right up the gut. No, actually delaying for a little while now as he's trying to figure things out.
Okay, he's going to send those quick ground units, Lings and Banelings down to try and deal with this. There is a tiny task force in the middle as well, doing nothing. Actually, those are SCVs, but they're just trying to kill themselves, actually. Looking for more Seeker missiles here. We see Fungal go down. There's 3 Seeker missiles. Everything getting splattered.
That was so cool, and the Broodlords and Infestors underneath just get obliterated. But still, Curious had such a big bank that he's reproducing entirely on Ultralisks and Infestors for now. And MVP has got to consider what he wants to do. He's making 13 Marines, 2 Vikings, 3 Ravens at a time. I almost think he'd be better suited for a few battle cruisers coming up soon, though.
We have an actual Nidus Worm coming up now, being killed by SCVs that were transported in the command center. And the Nidus Worm is going to come out, but nothing's going to come out of it. Broodlords instead are going to have to come over and deal with that. There is another Nidus Worm somewhere, probably in that bottom right location, but another one building now. No, yeah, actually just Overlords. But it said Nidus Worm detected twice. So that
well, another one started right afterwards as well, but
it doesn't say detect until it's finished, though. So something's screwy. But either way, 3 more Ravens. He's not even going to build Marines or anything anymore, just Ravens at this point.
Oh, and the reason it said number 2, this is the 3rd one over the entire
really?
game.
Why does it do that? I don't like that.
I don't know.
It should do it, like, you know, for the ones that are happening now. Anyway, 137 supply for MVP, 185 for Curious, and a lot of that is tied up in the 10 Ultralisks, 9 Ultralisks, excuse me, that came up. 29 Infestors on the field. That is a replenishable army. He is gearing for the late game because with that many Infestors, you can keep producing those infested swarm eggs, those infested Terrans forever and ever and ever as long as you keep the Infestors alive. So he can actually move into starvation mode at this point and just try to keep MVP from mining, and eventually Curious will just have that replenishable army.
Oh, look at this. Just using
huge range on that.
Exact range of the infested Terrans, yeah, to drop down a lot of these and start affecting the production of MVP. At the same time, he's forcing away this command center, which is now on fire.
That's a crazy battle going on the island right now, but all these infested Terrans just destroying production facilities, and then we have the actual main force moving in toward the planetary fortresses. All the Ultralisks just trying to find their spots in there at the front of the line, but the infested swarm eggs actually holding them out. The basketballs are too tall for the Ultralisks to walk over. Here come all the Ravens looking for those Seeker missiles right of the Infestors!
And they're fungled as well, so the Infestors, a few of them do die, and a couple of the Ultralisks have fallen as well. MVP trying to rally the rest of his forces, but he has dealt with the threat of fungals pretty effectively there, and he almost evens up the supply.
That's 3 battle cruisers in the production tab right now, so all that mixture of tons of Seeker missiles and battle cruisers. MVP is under 200 minerals still. Like, That's crazy. I don't understand. He's spending like crazy fungal growth on the Marines. Some basketballs coming out there. I only say basketballs because MC says basketballs and he's my hero. So
that's right.
Here come all the Ravens. They do have plenty of energy stored up in them. I don't really see MVP moving much farther in here. I'm actually a little bit surprised that he's going to continue in here unless he's got plans. He doesn't really have that much money to keep making battle cruisers en masse, so I'm a little surprised that he'd be wasteful with any of his units at this point, down to only 109 supply.
Okay, so there's the battle cruisers now. Do we have neural pairs? Ow, the infestors just burrowed as I wanted to check. Oh, they did it there too as well. Let's see, is it research? Yes. Okay, there we have it. Raven hit squad making its way around the side.
If they use secret missiles on overlords, I would just laugh. But
I think, auto turret harassment here.
Of course, much better decision.
Oh, but fungal growth hits a lot of the Ravens trying to get away, but they can't.
Infested Terrans doing their work.
Yep.
Man, there's been more infested Terrans than actual Terrans in this game.
Yeah, that's a fleet of overseers. I'm not sure what's happening there.
Fleet or flock.
This has just been one of the most fun games I've seen. Just an awesome display of super high tech. I mean, MVP has been playing a little bit of a disadvantage for a while here because of the bank of Curious, but now Curious is basically out of gas and he's just has 8,000 minerals sitting around.
8,000.
Yes.
Actually, not 8,000.
Oh, I thought I said 8,000.
I heard 8,000.
Oh.
But either way, there's a lot of minerals.
Hey, 3-3 Marauders stimmed are pretty good at killing buildings.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty good, and Lings with adrenal glands and 3-3 are pretty quick at killing stuff too. So he might actually not kill the hatchery. He's gonna try it again. I know it, but he's not focused. Oh, he does get the hats.
All right, but at the same time, there was an infestor drop off to the side. And MVP, he gets all of his units surrounded and ringed in. This
he doesn't need that many.
Doesn't know what to kill.
He doesn't need that many. They're so slow, half of them aren't even shooting anything now. We do have a little bit of a contingent right here. No, those are changelings. All right, so we have a changeling army prepared for war. We have an actual army in the main. Look at that. So he just kept, he's like, I know there's 3 Marines in a tank. I'm just going to keep going. Here's 40 infested Terrans to keep you busy while I run around with my Ultralisk and do whatever I want. The battle cruisers, I still haven't actually seen them. Yamato Cannon is going to be done very soon. Oh, they're there. They're not doing a whole lot, though.
No. And all the changelings are dying. All right. How ridiculous has this game been? Okay, so Curious, he actually can't get these infestors away for now. He can drop down some more infested Terrans, but MVP has an opportunity to kind of intercept and just kill all of those.
Look how strong they are.
And it's not like they're going to be replenished anyway because of how little gas. And you're right, yeah, those infested Terrans are ridiculously strong.
They have more DPS than Marines with all those upgrades and everything. They're just going crazy. They just don't move around very quick, and they obviously can't stim, but they do a ton of damage. And when they're dropped 30 or 40 at a time, you saw how quick that turret just melted. But Curious is actually gearing up down sort of in the center of the map. Looks like he's staging up everything, but MVP still trying to pick off these infestors. Obviously, they're high-value targets, but it's just very, very difficult to actually get in there, and he's wasting medevacs and marauders to try and get in. It's tough.
Yeah, all right. So Behemoth Reactor is even being researched at this point. Because why not give those a little more energy when they pop out? That is a fleet of battlecruisers, 9 of them. I have flashbacks a little bit of the set against Squirtle in the GSL Codex Finals with the ridiculous Vortex against a billion Tier 3 high-tech air units. All right, so let's look at things. Okay, this base is actually well underway for Curious. He continues to just disrupt his opponents, well, everything with these little infested Terran hit squads. And at the same time, he's going to try and move through a couple of planetary fortresses.
Ooh, Baneling's doing a great job through there. And I can only picture battlecruisers all getting knurled while they're shooting away. But actually, no, they're going to Yamato the crap out of those infestors. I really just pictured the BCs shooting at Ultras and then all getting knurled. But all the infestors are still up in the base, in the main of MVP. It looks like that infestor is just going to walk up and do nothing. A Knurl at this point really wouldn't do anything, so he needs a more concentrated attack. BC's just mowed through everything there.
Yes, that was insane, especially as high DPS as those infestors are. And boom, Yamato taking out an Ultralisk. MVP still has a staggeringly large force, but now he is basically just out of resources altogether.
Yeah,
he's done.
Pull up the income tab. 60, 20, 0, 21 harvesters, very, very little gas. So these BCs basically have to get the job done here. A couple of them are in low health, and Neural is actually obviously a very potent counter to this. He can grab them and Yamato his own units if he actually needs to. It looks like he's just going to continue attacking buildings, but he actually needs to respond to this because of that insane DPS on these BCs.
Okay.
And they're getting repaired up. He's using the last of his minerals to repair up.
So it looks like he is moving through. There's the a scan that actually reveals the infestors, but it doesn't matter. They have a ton of energy. Yeah. They're just going to put everything down. MVP kind of going for a quasi-base trade here with battle cruisers.
Yep, SCV Repair Force tagging along. He has 1,200 minerals somehow. I guess he did a line of mules somewhere.
Yeah, it looks like getting the last few minerals off of this base.
So many infested Terrans. That's insane.
All right, a few battle cruisers out here in the middle, but Corruptors do better against massive units, so they're actually pretty good against battle cruisers altogether, but still, MVP is just moving in and doing so much damage.
He's building 6 more Corruptors. Obviously, Corruption is a amazing ability against them as well, taking more damage for those, anti-massive air units to actually take them out. The SCV is actually getting focused down now by Broodlings. That was, I don't know if Curious did that on purpose or not, but just killing those SCVs with Broodlings is just another nice little touch. Obviously, they're going to attack the first thing they can on the ground, but MVP's running out of buildings. The DPS on these guys is really, really high, but if he can't keep up with the base trade, things are not going to work out. Curious in a very, very good position to actually win this.
Okay, so MVP is just going to spam down a bunch of mules over here to the side, but he doesn't really have that many production facilities to be able to take advantage of everything. Yamato!
Most unnecessary Yamato yet. Multiple Yamatos on one Nidus Worm that a probe can kill.
Cool with it.
A probe can kill that, man. He's just Yamato'd the crap out of it. But the bottom right island right now is MVP's last stand, I guess, because there's no... he's going to drop Lings. Curious is going to drop 6 Lings on that island to try and finish off MVP. There is actually a building floated to the top right corner of the map as well. That is the Silver League strat of delaying game. And I don't know.
Also works for MVP as well, apparently.
Of course,
so. All right, well, MVP certainly does still have a very stout force. How many Corruptors in the air? Just 12, but there's 32 Infestors. Are you kidding me?
He is actually clearing out that island, too.
Yes, so yes, he is.
There are Corruptors here. They are going to slowly pick off all these command centers.
That's right. So MVP actually needs to kill the Corruptors or he just loses the game.
That's right.
Okay.
And he needs to, I don't think he's killed the Spire yet, wherever that may be. So actually, no, I remember from the beginning of the game. It was down just below Curious's natural.
All right, well, the Infestors are trying to get into position next to the battle cruisers, dropping down 1 million infested Terrans. Are they going to be able to neural parasite any of these? No, it looks like they're just going to repeatedly fungal over and over again. Fungal actually catching most of those units there. Yamato Cannon hitting some of the Infestors, but I don't think that alone is going to be enough. More units being pinned down. The battle cruisers going down. MVP GG's and Curious has tied things up. We're moving to game number 9. Are you kidding me?
That was a pretty ridiculous game. Fairly ridiculous.
What?